Hello and welcome to the Hoop True Podcast. I am Matt O'Connor, and joining me as they do on all of our shows is my cousin Luke Drobner.
What's up, guys?
And my brother Mike O'Connor.
Hello.
And we are, 2 weeks into the NBA season? This is into the third week. We're almost 10, 15 games into the season. So
12 games,
enough of a sample here where I think we have, plenty we can talk about. I think there are definitely some surprises, both good and bad. A few pretty big storylines, namely Nico Harrison getting fired 7 months after trading away the franchise. So, Luke, I'll kind of put this to you because you're smirking. Where do you want to start? And again, we could do some quick hits, some bigger ones. I know there's a lot we need to get to, but where do you want to start? And then we can move from there.
I'm happy to start with the Mavs, I think.
Cool. So, what do you think about, because I feel like I'm on a weird side of the aisle on this. What do you think about them firing Nico at this point?
I mean, if you look at the track record, it's not good. So
that's putting it lightly. It's horrible. Yeah. He has not made even one good move. Maybe getting Kyrie Irving in the first place. Like, if he hadn't gotten injured, I mean, that seemed to be panning out. But, I mean,
the Kyrie move is good, but I think a lot of the other stuff he did, he kind of threw away assets and lost value on pretty much anything they had.
Yeah.
So not great. And obviously they started the season 3-9. Anthony Davis is out. At this point, do you even think about rushing Kyrie? So I don't think it's good. And we had them firmly in the play-in at 9, so a little bit of a miss here. But
I think it depends. Yeah, I mean, they're 3-9. They're not. Although, honestly, I mean, they're a game and a half. I'm saying they're 3-9, but then they're a game and a half out of, the 10 spot. They're not going to get there, but yeah.
Matthew, I don't want to take us off of the Mavericks course, but Matthew has a lot of explaining to do about the Clippers.
I know. We'll get to it.
I'm not letting you get away with that.
I know. We'll get to it. I still believe. They're just, it is. That's very much the unction.
They're going to do it exactly enough to make the playoffs.
They'll get in. They are not as good as I thought they were going to be. But in any event, let's stay on the Mavericks. So here's kind of my thought. Luke, you're right. Nico was bad. And I think everyone agrees that. I agree with that. He was not doing a good job as their GM. My thing is, you trusted him to make the Luka trade, and you're not really letting him see this process through. And so the timing of it is a little strange to me. Nothing has really changed outside of a few more injuries to the team, which, if your only evaluation here is, a couple guys got hurt, that's somewhat out of his control. But if you trust him enough to trade away Luka at the time, and that's before even winning the lottery and getting Cooper Flag, that was really, I don't even think that was a consideration when you actually let him do that. So he kind of got bailed out. So now to fire him without really seeing the vision through, I think it had to happen. It should have happened a long time ago. But it's weird to me that you let him trade away Luka, you let him do your draft, which I know was Cooper Flag, you let him do free agency, and then now is when you fire him. It just seems like the timing there, it seems like Patrick Dumont, the owner, it just seems like he was so embarrassed by it all that he was like, I got to do something because I'm embarrassed. And it's it shouldn't have taken that to fire him or to question what he was doing, but I don't know. To me, it's just so bizarre.
As an owner, when your GM comes to you and says we're going to trade away a top 5 player in the NBA who has overseas attention, right? All of Europe is a big Doncic fan because he's from Europe. Why you're losing a ridiculous amount of money just by trading him? It doesn't matter who you trade him for. And so as an owner, why would you be like, yeah, do it? And I think the following moves kind of snowballed a little bit more. Okay, he trades away Luka, and then the Caleb Martin trade with Grimes and stuff like that. I think
even Porzingis. I mean, they traded him away for Davis Bertans in a second. It's just the value that he got on some of these. And then Porzingis. I mean, he was so important for the Celtics there. I reckon
he was good in Washington.
Yeah, a few steps removed from where he was really delivering that full value, and obviously now he's dealing with whatever those health issues are. But still, I mean, I think it exacerbates the point. He has not made a good call. Really, I'd say his success rate is low.
Obviously,
That said, if I'm now, I think they have co-GMs in there. If I'm them, I think you have to say our timeline shifted. We're full in, the whole capture the flag idea now is building around him. And you want to get younger. You want to have guys that fit him, particularly guys who can be available too. I don't just want like injured vets and whatever. I think you want a clear cap sheet. So I think you try and make a few moves now kind of centered around that. So I think that's moving on from Clay. That's moving on from Anthony Davis. Because frankly, the other weird thing about the Anthony Davis situation is obviously, you move him to a contender. What is he doing on this team? But he's up for an extension after the end of this season, and it's a big number. And I don't know that the Mavericks want to be the one dealing with that problem. So I think it's in their best interest to try and trade him now when, you're not on the hook for all of that.
but also with the extension, he's not entitled to that, right? Like,
No, they don't have to extend him. He has 2 more years on his deal after this season.
The market is going to decide that. And I at this point with Anthony Davis, what out of the 30 teams is ever going to do that?
I know it's
Golden
tough.
State would
It's
take
tough.
a shot.
Yeah, but also I think you run the risk if he's not happy in 2 years, he walks, and like it's
Okay.
just
Yeah, but what's their window? Golden
What is
State, right?
he in 2 years? What is he in 2 years? Probably.
no. It's a good point, and that's why I honestly think if you can get value for him now, where he has 2 years under his contract and everything, now's the time to trade him. Totally, because when he is when he is at his best, I'd say he's top 15, 20 player in the NBA at his best when he's healthy. I'd say realistically, and probably defensively somewhere in the top 5 to 10. So when you have the opportunity to trade for that player, especially if you're trying to get over the hump for a championship, it makes sense. The Mavericks just aren't that team, so I think it is time to move on.
I'm not trusting Anthony Davis, right? I think there's a lot of like when he's healthy, if he's healthy, sure, yes. But to be top 10 in the league, you have to put all this strain on your body, and when he does that, he gets injured. And I'd rather have a shell of Anthony Davis for 65 games than have the best Anthony Davis I can get for 25.
Hear me out. So look, I haven't vetted these. I would have to get in there and just make sure salaries work, and I know there's more to it. But if the Timberwolves, for example, what if they were to look at some sort of a deal where Gobert and assets go to the Mavericks and Anthony Davis ends up with the Timberwolves? I like that offensive fit a lot better, and defensively, theoretically, you're not falling off that much if you're Minnesota. So I kind of like that idea, and for them, where they're trying to get over the hump and they're pushing through, it doesn't not make sense to me. It depends what you have to attach and go. I'm imagining Dillingham's going to be in there, probably some other draft capital or something. I don't know. There would be more to it. But
yeah, I think we talked about the Timberwolves the other day, where like they don't really have a pick to trade, but I guess if there's enough swaps, they have 2 swaps available, and then maybe some second round picks. And oh no, you have to trade Rob Dillingham, who at this point can't even really find minutes. So
yeah,
how good of that pick? How good was that pick?
well, right, exactly.
You're convinced that Minnesota needs to do something this year. That's how you feel.
No, I just look at them and. Are you looking at their roster and you think this team's winning a championship? Because I don't.
They have no depth. That's the issue.
They have
especially at point guard, where Conley's too old to continue to start, and Dillingham isn't taking the steps they need him to take.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is, and I'm glad you brought up Conley, but I think you look at some of these guys that are integral to what they're trying to do and need to play that bigger role. They're aging, and so. I obviously Anthony Edwards is on a different timeline than the rest of them, but even if you look at Julius Randle, he's 30. You have these guys that are starting to get into that window where it's like, okay, a couple of years. If it's not this year, then when is it? Because Gobert is getting up there, Randle's getting up there, Conley.
I'm putting the Timberwolves in a similar boat to the Bucks a couple years ago. You have Giannis, you're a championship contender. He's young. Some of the guys you have around him are a little older, like Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez. Chris Middleton, I guess, is about the same age, but got injured and stuff like that. But you kind of see where they are now, and it's not like they're a bad team. And obviously, Giannis can dominate a whole game by himself. So, but they are kind of in like an awkward position because Anthony Edwards is young, but you need to put a competitive roster around him. So I don't know.
Again,
And also
that's
the West
why.
is loaded. It's way easier to come out of the East and win a championship than it is to come out of the West.
Definitely. I mean, I think
Especially, yeah.
we're kind of seeing that now. Although honestly, the East has been weird. Looking at the current standings, the Pistons leading the way. They're going to regress to the mean. They're not a 10-2 team, but they're good. Don't get me wrong.
They are
I
good.
was advocating they are definitely going to be a top 6 team in the East this year.
We had them at the 4 seed, right?
So I
Where we-
believe so. I
Yes,
forget
we had them at
exactly.
4.
Yeah.
I think that's so fair. They're
But if
very-
you start going down this list, I mean, Pistons, Cavs, Knicks, Sixers, Hawks, Heat, Bucks. That's the top
I don't-
7. And then
The
rest
Sixers,
of it, who
the
cares?
Sixers with Embiid is 4, but Embiid's already out. So let's see how far they drop before he comes back.
I think the Sixers, with whatever Embiid looks like whenever he's playing, I know he has whatever that issue is. Paul George is apparently ramping up to come back too, which frankly, if he can just be a high-level role player, because realistically, I mean, the way Maxi's playing, you're not taking the ball out of his hands. Edgecombe is showing promise. You have enough guys, and then you're also going to have...
I agree with you, but I think this sentiment around Paul George for like the past 8 years, ever since Paul George left Indiana, and then obviously he had that one big season in Oklahoma City, was like he should just focus on being the best 3-and-D player in the league.
Yeah.
Shoot threes, play defense, but he has not done that. He has refused to do that. He's aged like Russell Westbrook, right? We're like, okay, Russell Westbrook, you have to find a way to be a role player. You're not the MVP anymore. You're not averaging a triple-double. But in some places, he's refused to do that, Russell Westbrook. So you kind of see how he's bounced around the league and struggled to find minutes.
Yeah. No, and I think, too, you look at the wings on the Sixers. So obviously, Maxey and Edgecombe we mentioned, but then you get into Jared McCain, and you get into...
He's supposed to come back.
And you get into Quentin Grimes. You have too many of those guys who are playing that role as you, Paul George. And you're obviously bigger, and you're probably more of like a true small forward, potentially power forward in some lineups. I think in that capacity, yes, you can go out there and you can spread the floor and you can play hard defense and everything. But to be honest, if you're going to compete as trying to be this ball-dominant player that you had been in the past,
Yeah, it's not going to
these
work.
guys have caught you, and they arguably are better than you at this point. All of them.
I think it'll be down to the Sixers organization, right? Are you still continuing to cater to your stars and say this is Paul George's team, this is Embiid's team, like you did, 2 years ago when you gave Embiid that massive extension? And then, or are you going to start saying, well, we have Edgecombe and Maxey's a young star, right? Is it their turn? So, and I like Edgecombe.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's funny. I feel like normally you see these young teams with these good young stars who are kind of emerging and coming in, and you have this good core. And honestly, the Sixers are kind of the perfect example of it. But you have this young core, and you're like, all we need is that vet to come in, solidify this core, and we can go make a push. Look at what the Rockets that just did in getting Kevin Durant. All these teams go and do that. If we just added that guy, we could get over the hump. The Sixers kind of reverse fell into this where suddenly, because their vets just kind of fell apart a little bit, they got some good draft capital, nailed those picks, and now it's like, oh, well, we already kind of have those guys on the roster now, so it's not like we need to go make that big home run around these guys. It's kind of like, let's just see how this thing plays out. Because I do think, realistically, Paul George and Embiid, they're good compliments next to these guys.
100%.
And
But if they play 30 games a year.
But if you're running the offense through the other guys, and they're kind of the complementary pieces instead of the focal point of what you're doing, I think 100% they're formidable. Assuming, all right, fine, you don't have to believe me.
If these guys don't, outside of their top 6, top 7, I guess Andre Drummond's not awful, but like they really, as soon as they get injured, it's over. They're cooked.
Yeah, I think there really are 4 teams that are playoff Eastern Conference teams, right?
Who do you think they are?
Pistons, Cavs, Knicks, Bucks.
Honorable mention Atlanta, honorable mention Miami, honorable mention Philadelphia, honorable mention.
I think Atlanta's a good team. Let me ask something about the Sixers, though. It's the year before Joel Embiid. It's the start of the season of Embiid's MVP season. This is the last time he will play over 60 games in an NBA season. Do you think about trading Embiid?
100%.
knowing
you don't
that
know
he's
that
not
at
going to
the
hold
time.
up.
See, that's the
Yes,
problem. You
come
don't-
on. He's injury prone his whole career. You have him at the peak of his time. You can get the package of packages. You can own multiple
And
teams
you,
in the future.
and you,
I don't think we knew it was going to be this bad.
I
I
don't think
think
you're
we
getting.
knew, and I think we knew he was
Oh,
going to get
you're
injured.
talking about. You're doing a
Trading Embiid
hypothetical.
away for the
You're
package of all packages,
you're
hypothetically.
doing a
Like
hypothetical.
2-3 years ago. Yeah,
Yes, when he was healthy and he was competing,
You
he was in the
wouldn't.
MVP conversation.
I
No-
understand why that never happened.
It's the
Yeah.
hard decision. It's like Toronto trading DeRozan, right? Was trading if you kept
He's better
DeRozan,
than
do you win a
DeRozan.
championship?
And there's-
100%, 1,000%. But look at where your franchise is now. You trade Embiid for the packages of all packages. You still draft Maxey. You still draft Edgecombe, and you have everything you got back for Embiid. You're in such a better shape. You're saying this is a young team. They're promising. They have all these picks. They're going to continue to get better, right? I asked Avnish the same thing. Avnish
Yeah.
said you can't do it because they did all the tanking when they got Embiid and
the process. Yeah, his
Yeah.
nickname. Yeah.
the process. You can't, and then all of a sudden you have Embiid and he's lifting your franchise out of the dirt. You can't trade him, right? Like the fans would riot. They'd be like,
See,
"We
it's
waited."
funny. I know enough Sixers fans who have kind of signaled being ready to move on, and I understand at that point you probably aren't. But I think
But
they
Embiid's
all
on
deep
his
down
way to
kinda
an
knew.
MVP. Where they're ready
Right,
to
you
move
can't
on.
get rid of that. I mean, look at the outrage around what happened with Nico trading Luka, and I know those are different scenarios. Like, believe me, I get it, but similar shades of the same thing.
Yes,
Trading him at his
100%.
peak, even though there's signs that maybe it's not going to work with this guy. You know, to
Yes.
Nico's point, like, yeah, Luka was out of shape, and the defense is and still is questionable at best. Like,
But
I
Embiid wasn't
understand that
even-
logic. Yeah,
Embiid wasn't even able to get them to an Eastern Conference Finals. Luka was lifting a whole team to the finals.
No, I agree.
So-
there is a difference there, but I think it's
But
different
the-
shades of the same conversation.
Yes,
Yeah,
By
there
what
are
we're
levels.
saying.
There are
Yeah.
levels to it.
Exactly.
Luka's in rarefied air of the I can drag a team to the finals. That's like LeBron. That's Steph to a degree sometimes.
right. And
That's-
if you're good enough to win an MVP in the NBA, you are arguably good enough to lift any team to a finals.
Yeah, I mean, I would generally agree with that. I think it's just, yeah. I mean, and again, this is a tough hypothetical because
It's like Zion too.
Yeah,
Like 3 years ago, before the fiasco went on and it got worse, Zion was like, he was going to get you a package if you traded him. But now it's like, who really wants that, right? So would you have, like, knowing you're the Pelicans, like, would you have just bit the bullet and been like, it's not working with this guy, see you later, while he's on this, like, ridiculously good, non-guaranteed contract?
I think it's hard. I think it's hard because you've sold so many people around the idea that this is your guy internally, like literally even just the employees that work there in the front office and the coaching
Yeah.
staff. Like
Yeah.
you've kind of reworked and made your whole stance around this one guy. It's hard to cut that short without giving it an extended opportunity. And particularly when they're performing at a higher level and then injuries or something like that are holding them back. It's one thing if, maybe it's, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a guy you drafted. Like I'll use, for example, LaMelo Ball at this point. I think he's another one that's kind of in this example of you're going to hit the point where you have to pay him a lot. Someone would probably, his value at this point is probably higher than it'll be in the future. I know he just had another injury, but still.
I think the Hornets are even, like, if you put LaMelo Ball back with the Hornets right now, are they a better team? I think without LaMelo, like, if you take LaMelo Ball all out of their rotation, they're a halfway decent team. When you put LaMelo back, I wouldn't be like, they're much better with him. I think they're still an okay team.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know that he necessarily makes a team better. He individually is a great player, and you see, like, the stats reflect it. He does perform really well, but no, I don't think he's bringing the team with him. So again, like, that is another one that you have to think about. There's a few of these teams.
Can we talk a little bit about the Hornets? Do you guys like the Hornets? I love the Hornets.
I do to a certain degree. I think they nailed their draft. We talked about it in our draft episode. They crushed the draft.
I'm a big Kalkbrenner guy.
I was going to say, Kalkbrenner and obviously Konkaneppel, like, just, they're both playing very well for rookies.
I will also mention I was a Knupel hater. Knipple,
You
however
were.
you say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't big on it. But now that I've seen him in the NBA, I do like it. He's shooting the ball really well.
I didn't like him as early as he went, and obviously I might have to eat my words there. But no, I think he is. He's a good fit. And again, he's the type of player
rookie
that
of the year.
He might, and he's the type of player where he could play on or off ball. Like I think it's so helpful to have someone at that size be able to be that differential, but also be able to just put the ball on the floor and actually go create for himself. So yeah, I'm curious. Again, I don't know. Is he going to be an all-star caliber type player at any point? I don't know. I
think he could be like Klay Thompson.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's again the ceiling. Yeah, I don't.
I also think there's like
small
things, right? We talk about Kalkbrenner, who was a second-round pick, but they also have another second-round pick, Zion James, sophomore out of Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really good defender, big, strong, athletic, shooting the ball lights out right now. So I like that pick too, and I think they did it with their second-round picks. It wasn't their first-round picks. Like McNeely, who they drafted 29th at the end of the first round, he's not playing as much as some of the other guys, but I think Kalkbrenner solidified himself as a starting quality center. He beat out Plumlee.
Yeah.
So I don't know how good Plumlee is anymore, but
I do think, with that said, they're going to lose a lot of games. Like, they're not a good team, but there's promise. There's honestly more promise with this team than we've seen since Kemba was there, realistically.
Charlotte owns their own pick, and they own Phoenix's pick.
Which, look, are there no protections on that?
We're wrong on Phoenix, too.
I think they have a complex bunch of swaps with Washington, Memphis, Orlando, and Phoenix, and I think they get the Phoenix pick out of all of the swapping.
Phoenix is weird. They started off pretty horribly, and then they kind of took off of late. So I'm curious to see how that pans out.
I guess Grayson Allen is the best shooter of all time now.
Yeah, I mean...
And I think Mark Williams has legitimately made an impact there. He wasn't playing at the beginning of the year, and I think he's only played like 5 or 6 games now, but I guess he's good. So,
all right, let's see. Because as much as I want to talk Hornets, let's get back to some of the more notable teams that we want to talk about here. All right. Sorry, Luke. I don't mean to derail this, but
I love Charlotte. They're
a bad Charlotte Hornets team is not going to be part of their time.
Matthew's heart was never into that. Trying to talk about the Hornets.
I like them. I'm fine, but I'm not going to dedicate too much of our time talking about a team that stinks.
They're mid. They don't stink.
They show promise. They're up and coming, but they are not a team I want to talk about. Fine, Luke. You want to talk about more bad teams? Let's talk about more bad teams. Let's go just bottom of the Western Conference.
Sure.
Pelicans they do not have their pick this year. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. That's awful. We hit on the Mavericks just above them. Kings. Good God. What are they doing?
Well, at least they have the lever. It sounds like they're going to pull the lever of trading everyone, which hopefully they do.
What do they get out of that? Like,
I think you could conceivably trade. I mean, Sabonis will net you something actually valuable.
Sabonis will, and I think Levine could get you something decent. But I don't see a lot of people,
because that contract sucks still. Like, I think that's the problem.
But
especially in season, it's hard to trade a guy like that.
And if you just need like a absolutely deadly scorer, like if that's what's holding you back, like if you're the Portland Trailblazers and you're like, it's time, do you not send a little bit out? But
that's just not the person. If I'm them, that's not who I'm sending it out on. Like, I think you're holding. And
do you think Portland would gamble like that?
No, but
nice.
If they were like the 3 seed for no reason at all, would you not like? Also, I guess
I can't believe that Chauncey Billups joke went right over your head. Oh man, but yes. Okay. Anyway, if you're the 3 seed and you're trying to make a push, I still don't know that Zach LaVine is the guy that gets you over the hump. I don't.
Yeah, I think Deni Avdija is averaging like 25 a game right now, so they don't really need scoring.
Yeah, I mean. I think for them, because right, they're sitting 6-5.
Saddest thing about the Portland Trailblazers season so far to me is the fact that Jan Hansen apparently is not ready to play NBA minutes. and that is killing me.
Well, they have too many bigs. I just think they're in a weird spot, and they're just going to nurse him along a little bit and then get him
even
integrated.
Chavo Splitter's like, he's not ready to play defense.
Yeah, which is probably true. Yeah,
absolutely kills me because I wanted some insane Jan Hansen.
We might get it later in the. I could see it later in the year because couldn't you see a world where they trade Time Lord by the end of the year, like or by the deadline, like and just open up time for him?
Let's see how well their season goes and how hard they try and compete. But I don't even know if Robert Williams is really playing. I think they're playing a lot of small ball with Jeremy Grant at the center.
Yeah, and he was largely hurt too. I do think, it's kind of been the Klingon show, I think.
Klingon's been good, and I think obviously Vita is apparently taking a really big step. Kind of showed it at the end of last year, but he's actually putting it together this year, and
yeah,
they have a good core. I think Drew Holiday's been really good for them. I think Shaden Sharp's a solid piece. So, and they're still waiting for Scoot to come back. So Scoot off the bench will make a difference as well.
Yeah. So let's
LA Clippers.
Yeah, it's fine. I was gonna go somewhere else, but that's fine.
Lay
it on me.
Have them? Where did you have
them?
I
had them at. Did I have them at? I had them high. Were they 2 for me? They might have been 2.
And did Mike and I fight you to try and keep them low?
And we lowered them, but I was adamant that they were going to be good. And honestly, I still like their roster. They are just old and banged up, but I like their roster. I can't help it.
Unrelated to basketball. Go, Mike.
Broke his hip or something. That's like the old...
Oh, Beal? Yeah.
I know. Beal broke his hip. Chris Paul fell off a cliff. Kawhi is hurt. Really, like, just across the... And honestly, Harden doesn't look great. Batum is old.
And they are embroiled in a scandal, too. Like, there's just nothing good there.
Yeah, vibes are down. Vibes are bad.
Yeah.
That kind of killed them. And the fact that they're putting off the decision...
Well, that's Adam Silver. I'm tired of Adam Silver. Yeah. Which, I do... Can I do one aside?
Sure.
The All-Star Game format. What are we doing? So
I don't care. They can do whatever they want.
Anyone who didn't see this... They're doing it now where there's going to be 3 teams round robin. So it's still going to be the same thing. You have 24 All-Stars selected. Yeah. They're going to do 2 teams of American players and 1 team of international players.
Did I send you guys? Did I send you that text? I'm like, there are more international players than 8. I can name 9 international players better. I can name 9 international All-Stars before I can name 16 American All-Stars.
Well, that's the thing. It's you're going to end up having to name additional All-Stars, which is going to, like, it's going to ruin...
You're going to have to name additional U.S. All-Stars over international All-Stars.
That, and the kicker here for me is, what are we going to be watching? All the best players are international. You're going to tell me that starting 5 of...
I'm not going to...
Of SGA, Luka, Giannis, Wemby, and then fill in the 5th.
Jokic,
realistically.
Jokic.
I mean, there's a few other players you could stick in there.
No, it's bad.
How could you?
No, you're gonna put Jokic in. All right, but I'm just saying.
Who would start over any of those?
You wouldn't.
Nobody. I think the international stars right now are younger and in their prime versus the U.S. All-Stars. Curry, LeBron, Durant. Those guys are at the end of their careers. So I think it's difficult. But yeah, and you also have Sengun off the bench it's like your 6th man. So yeah, and it's the All-Star game, so these guys aren't really going to be playing. They're just going to be throwing lobs to each other.
But
my feeling about the All-Star game is
frustrating. Like that's not going to be that doesn't make it more competitive or more fun. All it does is it.
No, they're trying to make money. They don't care about it being competitive, right? They're trying to market this.
Look, I get no one cares about the All-Star game. But it matters. Like, think about when players retire and they're getting into the Hall of Fame. It's like, 2-time All-Star, whatever. This waters that down if you're going to be selecting additional players to fill out these teams and make these systems work. Like, it's just dumb.
Yeah, I get it. I understand, but I don't think it should be completely merit-based. I don't think there should be any voting, right? If you want to make it an All-Star, if you want to take All-Star selections into the Hall of Fame consideration, right? It should just be like, this guy's having a great season, All-Star.
I know.
But that's what the All-NBA is for, right?
Well,
but
right,
the All-NBA,
exactly.
There's only, 15 spots for All-NBA? There's 24 for All-Star. So you can be a bottom 9 All-Star and not make All-NBA, and that still says something. But but even then, like, they're like pity All-Stars, right? They had one year where it was like oh, Wade and Nowitzki are retiring, make them all-stars. And that counted toward their all-star total.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, again, we'll see how it all looks. Between the way he's handling the whole Kawhi thing,
He's trying to make money. The NBA viewership is up and stuff like that. I understand what
Yeah.
he's trying to do. It's just, obviously, there's always going to be an outrage as he tries and finds the balance of how much money can I milk out of it to the fan outrage.
I also think the other thing that, whatever, we'll see where it goes. And I don't want to get too much into the gambling side of things, but the whole Rozier situation where the NBA did their investigation and I'm going to air quote this,
Cleared him?
cleared him, but they didn't have the authority to clear him. They just said, based on the evidence that we, the NBA, were able to collect, we can't find anything abnormal. Which,
Yeah, it's a players' league, and I think Silver made a decision to help the players out.
but if he knew that this ongoing investigation by the FBI was happening, which it was, like him not intervening with this Heat trade that sent him there, like there's just things that stink about the whole transaction. And him just kind of allowing all this stuff to kind of go through. And I recognize with the CBA and everything,
Yeah,
the Players
again,
Association would have fought tooth and nail on it. But I don't know. His handling of a lot of the issues lately, I think, has been
And
pretty poor.
you also think that he's doing a mega wants Giannis to request a demand to trade plan. Do you believe in that?
Well, that's all on the internet.
that's a conspiracy theory, but yeah, I think
He wants him in a big market. I'm sure he wants him in a big market, but
Well,
there's
except-
this.
all the stars in big markets.
What's being conveyed here is a very loyal, dedicated NBA fan has lost trust in the person that's running the league. Is what it sounds like.
Well, I don't know that I buy into the conspiracy theories and everything like that. I more question. I'm like, I wish Silver would focus on the things that actually matter, and like instead, all he cares about is like. And look, I agree. You need to grow the game globally, but everything is like the turning thing. Like I agree with the NBA Cup. That's good. It should be good, but there's a way to reform that a little bit. It shouldn't start the second week of the season. Like there are things that they could do better, and instead of just kind of like painting courts and things like that, I think there has to be more. I don't know. I feel like Luke. To your point, all he cares about now is
But that's
growing
his
the bottom
job.
line.
That's his job.
Yes and no. He has to deliver a good NBA product. Like Stern, as much as he was doing the same thing of growing the game, he had some level of integrity around it. Now I feel like it's just kind of.
I wouldn't say that Adam Silver doesn't have a level of integrity around it. He's definitely a quiet commissioner. Sure, Stern was like, "Don't trade Chris Paul to the Lakers. That's not fair." It's not fair that Adam Silver let Rozier get traded. Sure, but like, was it his job to say something? No. Like the Heat, it wasn't like it was private information that Terry Rozier was being investigated by the FBI. If the Heat wanted Rozier, they could have made the trade. If they were
I guess
like,
it
"Oh, the
also
FBI
depends
investigation
on-
is bad," like.
I think it depends on how much was disclosed at that point too.
Yeah, I don't think anybody told the Heat anything. I think the Heat was just like, I guess it's okay.
Right.
But part of that's on the Heat.
Yeah. But I would assume if my employer tells me that, oh yeah, it's all good, that it's all good.
Well, Adam Silver doesn't employ Pat Riley.
Okay, fine. The powers that be in the NBA clearing him and the situation, that's kind of how I look at it. Whatever.
I don't know.
All right. I don't want to keep hitting on this. This is enough of me dunking on Adam Silver. Let's get back to actual basketball.
Mike, where do you want to go next? What are you thinking?
The Denver Nuggets are surprising me at how good they are. How about that?
Why is that?
I was expecting a little bit more of the same. Jokic in the past few years has been lifting up or putting makeup on a, what do they say? Putting makeup
lipstick on a pig. Yeah.
Like it's been kind of the Nuggets haven't been that serious because it's really been Jokic dragging up a team that was a little bit ragtag, no depth. I do think I still have concerns about their aging and ailing co-stars in Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon, but so far that hasn't been an issue. And Jokic, it's hard to believe that he's gotten even better.
It's amazing how well he's playing, and I know we voted him to win MVP, and it's showing.
And the whole team it's a complete team. They're very solid. They don't have many weaknesses. I think injury luck is going to determine how far they go, but they are excellent. Because I look around and I'm like, who's going to beat Oklahoma? They are by far the best, and I think Jokic is the best chance of Oklahoma City.
Let me ask you something. Here you are saying Jokic is lifting the rest of the Nuggets roster. Does the rest of the Nuggets roster lift Jokic?
Yeah, definitely. Having a good supporting cast makes you better too.
Well, you get more assists when they make the shots when you.
Well, everyone even the free agents they've signed. I guess the only one that hasn't played with Jokic, or two of them, is Tim Hardaway Jr. and Cam Johnson. Tim Hardaway Jr. seemed to understand exactly how everything worked as soon as he got there. Cameron Johnson's struggles have been a little bit more notable, but Bruce Brown, he knows exactly what to do.
Yeah. No, and actually, Luke, I'm glad you brought up Cam Johnson. That was actually what I wanted to flag. I was so high on that trade of sending Michael Porter Jr. out and bringing him in. But you look at his averages, he's only, and that's why I think the Nuggets' ceiling is even higher than they're performing right now, which is pretty damn good. But he's only averaging 7.2 points. That's his lowest average in his entire career, including his rookie season. He's averaging 2.6 total rebounds. That's his fewest in his career. And he's averaging 1.8 assists, which is low, mid to low in his career. I mean, again, I'm not saying all of those are going to be high, and there's other stats that are important there. But realistically, and honestly, he's only shooting 21% from three, which is going to go up. He hasn't shot in his career. His sophomore year, he shot 35% from three. But
he's
otherwise,
having a bad year offensively, but I think there are reports that he's playing some of the best defense he's ever played.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. So I think, it's not all showing up in the stat sheet of how this team is gelling, but I think my point being, they're only going to get better as they incorporate some of these new pieces and, some of the things that I think they realized we needed extra depth, that we need to fill out this roster a little bit better. How does everyone work together? That's going to come over time. It's only been, for them, they played what?
I think there's something going on when you play for a shitty team like the Nets and then you go to an organization where there's a lot of people that need the ball and the ball's moving. A guy on our team had a little bit of a rough adjustment.
Yeah, Mikhail.
There's something weird. You come from that team where Cameron Johnson was probably used to dribbling the ball a lot and needing to score a lot, and now he's on a team where before he even blinks, Jokic has made a decision and passed it to Bruce Brown, cutting, and they scored.
Yeah, and I also think
so. I don't know.
I think you're 100% right when you look at who Cam Johnson was in Brooklyn. I think he played a little bit of point guard there. Even then, when he was in Phoenix, what does his role look like offensively there? Stand in the corner and shoot threes. So I think the Denver offense is something completely new to him. Something might have been easier for him to gel when he was a rookie or something like that, when he was first coming to the NBA. But he has a little bit of an identity, and that is hard to work around. And Michael's been much better this year, so let's see how fast Cam Johnson can pick it up. And playing with Jokic is probably a lot easier than playing with Towns and Brunson. And no disrespect to the guys on our roster, but
I mean, Jokic in theory should make it easy for everyone around him. But I imagine you get there and this big lumbering, quiet guy who's slinging the ball like an octopus around the court is probably pretty hard to adjust. He's thinking about things that you're not thinking about.
Yeah,
I think that's hard. But again, people are flipping out about Wemby. People are flipping out about a lot of different things. The consistent growth and greatness of Jokic to me is, I can't get over it. It's amazing.
No, I completely agree. And I think there's obviously, it's early. There's a handful of guys who've cemented themselves in the MVP race. Jokic is, realistically in my eyes leading the way. But then you have Giannis, Wemby. You have a few of these guys that are really playing, SGA obviously as well, playing really, really good basketball on good teams. Even, I know, again, we're saying Wemby, but if you look right now, they're in third. Whether that holds or not, we'll see. But they're 8-3 is pretty damn good, and he is really the reason they're there.
Out of nowhere, I think we had the Spurs low. We had the Spurs at 8 in the West.
We did,
and that was after watching Wemby preseason.
I think part of me thought, I didn't envision
No one
Harper, Castle, and Fox to kind of fit in as seamlessly as they have. And I know, like, not all of them have been healthy at the same time. We haven't really seen all the cooks in the kitchen yet, so we'll see what happens when that happens. But at this point, everyone else, they've really been able to just plug and play, and it works. Now, granted, it's easy when you have that absolute freak at center. But, yeah, I mean, I think they'll probably regress a little bit. I think ultimately Houston will pass them. I think they're like a game behind or so.
Half a game, yeah.
But I don't see them fall. Like, they're probably going to be a top 6 seed. I would be surprised if they're not.
I like Houston. I think Kevin Durant's fitting in well. And I think at the beginning of the year, there was a lot of questions around Reed Shepherd, who I think has kind of become more comfortable, and you kind of see him making the plays he's supposed to be making. So,
and I think too, coming off the Van Vliet injury, everyone looked at this team and they're missing a point guard, which is very much true. It's apparent. But the conversation around that was they could kind of take their time, because realistically, until like that December, I think the 14th moratorium is up, then no one can get traded. Like that was signed in the offseason. Until that point, they're going to have to be patient and wait around. They're winning anyway, and so they're getting really good information on how these guys play, and they're going to be able to just honestly take their time and see how this shakes out a little bit more. I don't think they have to be pressed to say right away, all right, we got to go get our point guard. I think they can be selective, and they can just see how the rest of the league is playing out, what guys might potentially be available.
I do think they trade something. I think they obviously want to compete. How much they like Van Vliet is a good question. I think there might be like an Aroldis Chapman type of situation where the Yankees trade him to the Cubs win the World Series, and then Chapman re-signs with the Yankees in the offseason. Or was it the other way around? I forget. But they trade Van Vliet. Van Vliet comes on a team-friendly deal back to the Rockets. I don't know. I also think Tari Eason didn't sign an extension, and he holds a lot of value. And Dorian Finney-Smith hasn't played yet. So let's see if they try to open up some minutes in their forward rotation.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And honestly, the way that they've been playing is just with a ton of size. They are punishing teams, and they're making them pay, because you can't really leak out against this team the way that they're crashing the glass, because you got to put bodies on all these guys. I mean, it's just they're too big. You have to physically stay down. So a lot of these teams that want to run and gun, they're kind of forcing you to have to rethink the way you want to play when you play them. And you're right. When they fill out the rest of the roster, it's not like it's just like, all right, we're going to start subbing in some smaller guys who are on the bench. No, you're going to have other big forwards that are very physical in the way that they play. So
their whole roster is massive, right?
And that's why I don't think they have to go and make this traditional type point guard move if you see consistency across the board from, in the jumps that some of these guys are taking. You mentioned Reed Shepherd, but obviously then you have Amen Thompson, who's doing, similarly, you're seeing his improvement. Durant obviously can handle the ball as well. I know you don't really want to rely on that as just like a creator, but still. I do
think they need a ball handler, right? They do need another one.
Definitely.
Because at times, sure, is Amen Thompson going to play point guard? Sure. Is he going to do it in the last 3 minutes of Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals?
But I think all they need is really like a system quarterback. You
100%.
have the skill players there. If you run a good offense with anyone in that position who can just truly direct traffic.
TJ McConnell, your Houston Rocket, fits incredibly well with the dog mentality too.
Yeah, it won't take much, honestly. I don't think, but they're close to getting over the hump. They're very. I mean, again, 7-3. It's early. It's really hard to evaluate.
I think they're over the hump. I think they need to. Now that being over the hump is one thing in the West, but then you also have to go through Oklahoma City or Denver or somebody like that. So
I guess that's what I mean. I'm saying they're in a contending tier, but I don't think any of them, if the season ends today, I wouldn't pick them to honestly realistically make the conference final. I think they're short of that.
Someone's season is going to be cut abrupt, and they're going to be incredibly upset because their expectations were way higher. Yeah. The West is just so loaded.
Well, yeah, I mean, God, you go down this list, and
there's 3 championship contenders in the West, in my opinion. Oklahoma City, Denver, Houston.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And
we'll see what other moves happen here throughout the year, but as of now, those are the 3.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. Can we talk one other thing? Ja Morant. Whatever this nonsense is with his coach where he got suspended for a game. Um,
How dare he ruin Zach Edey's team? Okay,
oh my
Edey's
God.
not even back from injury yet, and John Morant has ruined their season.
Probably why everyone's in disarray without him there, Luke. No, I mean the Grizzlies are 4-9 on the season. Ja has been suspended for a game, and it seems like there's just infighting between their new head coach and Ja specifically. I'm not sure if that extends to any of the other players, but I'm getting the sense that things are really deteriorating in Memphis. If you are a Memphis, I'll say a fan. If you're not the GM, what are you really hoping for at this point? What do you want to see?
If
Because
I'm the GM,
no, if you're just a
a
Memphis
fan.
yeah, truly, like you're a grit and grind guy. What
If
do you
my
want now?
if
Because
my
there's part of me that I think if I'm rooting for this Grizzlies team, part of me is like, I think we got to get rid of Ja.
Yeah, 100%. I think what's hard with the John Morant trade is Scottie Pippen Jr., your backup point guard, is out for a lot of time. Ty Jerome still hasn't seen any of the floor yet, who they signed in the offseason.
Yeah.
So how do you trade Ja with your next two point guards out? It's hard.
I mean, they do have good young pieces, though, and they have all those assets from the Magic trade, which, frankly, the way that the Magic are playing, I know they've been injured and they have their issues. Those picks may end up being valuable. Coupling your own, if you kind of go to that, let's tank a little bit here, with those Magic picks, like, it's not like it's going to be this big, long rebuild. And frankly, if you were to move on from Ja, you would get similar assets. You would definitely pull in a haul. I don't know how much since his trade value is lower now, but
Yeah. I think with Ja we're approaching that shelf that we talked about with Embiid and we talked about with Zion. You kind of see a guy who's obviously incredibly talented. At what point do other teams consider him not worth the trouble?
yeah,
Right now, and I think you'd capture. I feel like Kyrie 4 years ago is a good comp. Like he was close to being untradeable, and they found a new home for him.
there's ultimately going to be a team that desperate to
Also,
need to go in.
I still think there are teams that are like, we can change him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
100%.
it's like the Tobias from Arrested Development meme. Like,
Yeah.
but maybe
Yeah,
we can.
it'll work.
It'll work
Yeah.
for us exactly. But I do think So hear me out. The Pelicans. What do they have to lose at this point?
I don't
Because
know.
it's already. I mean, their situation is bleak.
I think the hex that's over them will cause that to be a
A disaster.
Yeah.
I also just think sending someone like him to New Orleans, like Zion was corrupted, or like Zion,
No, it has a
Fine.
Zion's bad work ethic and attitude came out hard in New Orleans, and I just don't see that being a good fit for Ja. Ja kind of needs to be in like a boot camp.
It's got to come from within. I think we talked like similar with Kyrie. I don't think it was like he got traded to the Mavericks and then the Mavericks helped him change. I think Kyrie got traded, and at some point Kyrie was like, "It's on me to be better. It's on me to be a mentor." Blah blah blah. Right.
All right, I got another one then. I'm going through just my hypotheticals. Toronto.
Yeah, I think the salaries work there really well too because you gave RJ Barrett a huge extension, who I don't think they'd trade because he's from Toronto and loves being in Toronto, as reported. But like a guy like Quickly, who I see a lot of negative sentiment on Twitter about, he also is on a huge contract, and you could probably make something around that work.
Right. No, I mean, I think they have, and also they have that kind of logjam of wings. Like, you try and kind of break that up a little bit, bring in a pretty tried and true point guard. I know he's had his problems. His shooting has declined and his attacking at the rim. Whatever. There are concerns, don't get me wrong. But I still think, again, change of scenery around, and I also think that front office post Masai Ujiri is probably going to want to make a splash for themselves and say, like, hey, look what we did. We did this. We're not just kind of mooching.
It could also backfire. You trade for Ja 3 years later, you're out the door.
Well, right, exactly. It's a risk. Don't get me wrong. But I could just see something like that happening. Miami is another one that I think they're...
Yeah, talk about a team that wants to kind of like fix problematic players, people who are willing to be like sure, this guy isn't perfect, but we have Heat culture, and
Well, exactly.
we can
I
make him
hate
believe
Heat
into it.
culture, but yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, and
Um,
I like it, and I think you kind of have the pieces around him. You don't really have a point guard. I know Davion Mitchell is good, but is he your starter? And I think it could work. I think it could work.
yeah. And the last one I have, and I know I kind of already brought them up, but Minnesota. Again, I think desperate enough.
They'd be like, you ever watch like hoop mixtapes on YouTube?
Oh, I literally could not imagine the infighting between Anthony Edwards and John Morant. Or if it
Imagine
worked,
Julius Randle is on that team too.
yeah, I would imagine he's probably out the door to make that happen. Because I think if you're going to bring him in, you'd need Gobert to still be there somehow. So just defensively to clean that
You
up.
need someone to set picks, and I think McDaniels is the big name to watch for a Ja trade, which to me is a little surprising. But
I wouldn't dump McDaniels. McDaniels is showing such improvement this year that he's like a legit good, like solid, honestly 2 option. He's kind of doing the stuff that Chris Middleton was doing. I could see him eventually making an all-star team.
I honestly think, though, if you do trade Ja and you want Ja to find his joy again, trading him to a situation like Minnesota where you can play next to Anthony Edwards, like the two of them in a press conference, just imagine the ruckus.
It would either go really well or horribly.
I get the
But
feeling
ruckus would happen no matter what, Luke.
I get the feeling they'd be amazing friends,
Yeah.
and like I don't know what makes me think that, but the culture would be immaculate, and
Or it
yeah.
wouldn't. Or it would
No,
go horribly wrong because you have 2 pretty strong personalities.
but I think that
egos.
works. Like if you think about like the Bulls teams with Jordan, I don't think any of those like Pippen and Jordan, I don't think either of them were easy people, but because they both had each other to balance each other out, I think it worked.
There are counters to this. It's not going to be a Stockton Malone pairing. Like it just
No.
isn't. And I know Shaq and Kobe won. I'm not going to compare them to Shaq and Kobe, but
That
it's
again,
more like,
two big-headed people.
in all fairness, they're 2 of the top 5 players of all time that were on the same team. So that
But
would
you
work.
don't, yeah.
These 2 are not that. They're not as good.
No, but the vibes.
Fine. Fine.
That sometimes that's all it takes. Like there are like teams in the MLB, I see it all the time. It's like the power of friendship will prevail. You know, it'll work in the NBA too.
Yeah, maybe. All right, I have one more trade just because of a situation that I think could make sense. Is Utah now with Walker Kessler hurt? What are they doing hanging on to Larry Markkinen? I just think they should try and move on from him at this point. Lose a lot of games. Ainge, I know, is a nightmare to trade with, but at some point you got to cut your losses, dude, and just lose.
Talk about value. Like you can get a haul. I think.
Right. I mean, he's playing really good basketball this year.
What's your lineup as the Memphis Grizzlies if you trade for Markkinen? It's Markkinen, Jaren Jackson, Edie.
Well, I also think if in that situation, I'm imagining if you're buying Markkinen, you're keeping Ja, so he's going to be your point guard in that equation. So how does the math work there? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's too many contracts for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, so it might not necessarily be them, but in general, I think there are teams that would easily take a swing. I know the Celtics are in a weird year, but why not? He's kind of the right guy for the way that they play.
I think Boston's in a different situation than some other teams, though, because they know Tatum's coming back. And it's like Indiana, right? Like, you can't take like a home run swing on a trade knowing that your star is coming back. You can't like disturb the balance you've built.
They just disturbed it. I mean, they traded away
But that was to
pieces of their team.
To get under the second apron. And
I
then they're
know.
But they still, like, it's not like they traded Jaylen Brown, you know?
No, but still, you don't think that a combination of Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Lowry Markkinen could work in harmony? I think they all can play multiple positions, 2 to 4.
You're just talking about the Jazz trading Markkinen.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think I meant?
I thought you were talking about like you were continuing the Ja Morant.
No,
swaps.
I was getting off the Ja subject and going to other guys that are just based on situations where I'm like, might make sense to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, I think if you think about the success they had with Porzingis, I don't think Markkanen's that type of rim protector, but
No, but he's
yeah,
also better offensively than
yeah,
Porzingis.
Brown, Tatum, Markkanen, and then you'll need someone to protect the rim, and
Yeah, but
you
that you
won't
could
need a
deal with in the
superstar point
offseason. It's not
guard.
like you're doing it for this season. You're doing it for the future.
Yeah, 100%. And I think they acquired Simons literally to redirect him in a trade like that. So
Yeah. All right. I've been throwing a ton of scenarios out here. Do we have anything else we want to hit on? I know we've been on for a while,
I
but
feel like we've been on for like an hour.
yeah, we've definitely we've been
I think the
going.
Bulls were exciting at the beginning of the year, top of the East. Josh Giddey averaging 21, 9 and 9. That's insane.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're like a formidable team. I think finally showing some promise. I do think they're a weird, like I don't know that you do it, and I don't like the idea, but like, could they trade for Anthony Davis? But
And
whatever.
send him home. I could
Send
see
him
it.
home. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So, like, they're another one that it doesn't make a ton of sense just because the way that Vucevic plays and the way that Giddey plays. Like, Giddey obviously
Well,
not
I
a
think
shooter.
Vucevic would be gone if
He would be, but my point being is that he fits. If you're going to let Giddey run the offense, Vucevic kind of clearing out and like giving Giddey more room in the paint, Anthony Davis is going to clog that. As much as gravity as Anthony Davis has, it's going to change the way that whole thing works. I'm also imagining you're probably then trading Kobe White. Like, you're going to have to give a lot of pieces to Dallas to make it work. And, like, I don't know. Does that make sense? But I do. I think they're showing improvement as well. And the East is open. I mean, we're seeing it time and time again. They're young and showing that there's, I don't know, change underway.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto's beating Cleveland by 12 at half. Like, it's weird. The East is so weird.
is everybody playing for Cleveland.
I don't know.
Now I'm
More
going.
importantly, Purdue is up 2 on Alabama with 16 minutes to go.
Very nice.
Purdue, I mean, I saw narrowly escape that first game of the season.
Second game, yeah, against Oakland.
Yeah,
We
yikes, Luke.
we crushed Evansville week 1,
Ooh,
but
big time.
yeah, Oakland came out with a pace of game we were not ready for, and they punched us in the face, and we weren't really able to recover. But you could tell that we were a much better team, which is why we stayed afloat. And yeah, we were ranked number 1 preseason. We beat Evansville, and we were ranked number 1, and then we escaped narrowly against Oakland, and we moved down to number 2. We did get the most first place votes,
Yeah.
but we're number 2 now. Houston took over, and Houston played that same Oakland team. I don't know the result. I didn't check, but I'm assuming Houston beat them pretty bad.
You now have me looking up Boston College's schedule because we actually had a disappointing loss. We lost to Connecticut College, 60-59. So there goes our 15-point favorite in that one.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Not great. Not great for the Eagles. And we're also 1-9 in football. Or one.
Also, while the Bulls were on topic of mine, DeAndre Hunter with the most insane crossover on Giddey, who's now missed a couple of
Oh, I
games
know.
because of a
I mean, he truly, like,
broke his ankles.
I was gonna say, you might see that in if you looked up broken ankles in like the Urban Dictionary of the NBA. I think that
Ridiculous.
play is there. Yeah, crazy.
Also, want to mention Steve Novak on the Knicks broadcast. I know it's not Walt Frazier, Clyde Frazier, but I do really like Steve Novak,
Yeah,
mostly because of how monotone he is. He doesn't really get excited about anything. He was an NBA player very recently, so
Well,
I
it's
think when
also-
you see something, he's
it's-
like Tony Romo to me.
it's funny. It's funny you are saying that because he was on the Bucks broadcast for a while. That's kind of where he was getting his reps in
was it?
before coming to MSG. Which you got to figure a Bucks broadcast is a monotone broadcast. I'd say generally. So
Giannis has some dunks. I don't know.
yeah, right. I mean, but that's situational. I'm more saying the fan base and everything. It seems a little more mild mannered.
But like Breen, who's obviously very good at his job, he gets really excited about the big plays, and then you hear Steve Novak, and he's like, "That's a great point, Mike." You know,
Yeah.
he's just
I
shooting
have
the ball
conversation.
great.
I have enjoyed those two together. Is fun to they're fun to listen to.
They are good.
And I
I'm
guess-
appreciating.
So can you guys just talk me off the ledge? Grade 1 ankle sprain. We're happy.
He's
it
day to
could've been
day,
worse. Yeah.
so much better than I thought it was going to
He'll
be.
miss a week or two, if that. But realistically, I don't think he's going to be out that long.
And we beat the Heat without him. on
Yeah.
Friday.
No.
Yes.
I think
Also,
I agree.
Bam might not play. So
I agree with Luke.
I don't think it matters for the Heat. I think the next guy up for the Heat is better than the next guy up for the Knicks.
I don't know.
I
unfortunately.
disagree.
I don't know if that's true. I just think no one else can dribble.
That is true. No one else on the Knicks can dribble. Deuce a little bit, but yeah.
I put him in the same category as Mike Howe, where like, sure, you can do like a dribble handoff, but I don't want him bringing the ball up.
No.
Yeah. But I don't know. I still think the Knicks are more complete than the Heat.
How many minutes is Kolek gonna get?
He's definitely going to play.
Low though.
I saw him get highlighted in a YouTube video I watched where he was like thinking about how to line up the offense, and he got the Knicks lined up properly to beat a highly talented defensive scheme.
I think we can beat. I mean, this Heat team, they changed the way that they're playing basketball. Like everything is motion. They're not setting any on-ball picks really, like relative to the league average. They've totally kind of shifted away from the modern NBA format, and it's working. I mean, they're winning, and they have notable injuries to their team too.
I think they're taking the next step. It's not a lot of on-ball screens. I think it's something the Warriors do a lot of,
Yes.
where they set like screens on the side for Curry and he runs around him, and then you have to chase him. They're not really doing that many off-ball screens, but I also think it helps. Like Jaime Jaquez, who plays like shooting guard, is bigger than a lot of shooting guards, so he just has like open floor to bully other shooting guards. It's going to work out for them. He's averaging like 17 a game, so
Yeah. But no, Michael, to your point, things will be fine with the Knicks. They're going to tread water at a minimum. They're going to, I'd say like at worst, over a stretch without him, go 500. Like they're good enough without him that they'll be fine.
let's see what Towns can do.
Yeah, I would like to see us get at least split with the Heat over the next 2 games. That would show me a good sign.
My silver lining here too is I think this forces the Mike Brown experiment to really experiment of what the hell do we do when Jalen's not playing? How do we
Like
find
Kirks
a
and
five
Cook.
that works? Yeah. So like this is going to be an extended runway to say those minutes where Brunson's on the bench, who are we turning to? How are we making this work? So it's all in the process. This is everything I was clamoring for when Thibodeau was the coach. We're finally getting to see it. So I'm on board. I don't want him to be hurt, but I'm just saying, let's see how it goes. Let's experiment. We'll be fine. But come playoffs, we'll be ready to go.
Wow. Well, on that
Yep.
note,
I know. I'm being positive. Look at me.
Back to back against Miami.
Yeah,
At
not great.
MSG, at MSG, and then on Monday in Miami.
I would like to split.
And then we have
I want
Dallas on ESPN Wednesday.
Ooh, barbecue chicken.
Cooper Flag.
Yeah, but you know that's going to be the game Anthony Davis comes back for, and suddenly they're healthy and whatever.
Well,
You
it's
just
in
know it.
Dallas, so
I know, but you just know that that's going to be the game.
yeah.
Whatever. It is the Knicks also have yet to win on the road this season. Granted, they've only played 3 games on the road, so got to get back out there and win one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Does anyone have any closing remarks before we shut this thing down?
Boiler out. Go Purdue.
All right,
Yeah,
Luke.
go.
I'll join in for you. All right. To those of you who have made it this far, thank you for tuning in. This has been the Hoop Troop Podcast. Join us next time.